Okay, everyone, so I'm gonna be talking about the disadvantages and the workability against the plan that the affirmative side has presented. Their plan is to provide a 2-year gap between FDA approval for advertisement, whereas it already takes long enough to get the drug to be approved by FDA, whereas the cost would be even more if they had to hire even more people to go over those advertisements. Once those advertisements are sent out to the public, and if they find any violations, then they send them a violation letter, and then the pharmaceutical companies have to remove or modify their advertisements. So that situation is already handled. Claim that they stated that they provide false or misleading information, but according to Vishal Arak, from a product brand manager, he states that GlaxoSmithKline publishes the results on drug trials, even the ones that fail online. So there are plenty other sources, information on drugs available. The drugs remain unused is a drug that helps nobody. Advertisements are simply a reasonable way for drug companies to help consumers find out their products within a safe and highly regulated environment. So those advertisements that provide links to go do your own research online actually help those who are uninformed or want to learn more information. They're not trying to avoid any side effects or try not to avoid it. They allow the public to do their own research and also have something to bring about if they want to go to the doctor to address a certain drug prescription. Also in regards to the costs that they have, pharmaceutical companies use most or half of their revenue to do research and development into new and improved drugs. So restricting already planned drugs to be brought out to us would hinder the profit or the revenue that the pharmaceutical companies are getting. So it would just push back everything else, all the research, all the development that we're trying to get for better and improved drugs. In regards to doctor visits, they say it's a waste of time, that a lot of people come in and ask about prescription drugs, but in fact that is false. Doctors actually welcome questions about advertised prescription drugs. It's proven to even help the relationship between the patient and the doctor. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and Drug Administration Center, they published a report stating that that most respondents said that the doctor welcomed their question, which was about 93% of the entire study, and that only 3% of the respondents reported that their doctor seemed angry or upset. So the doctors aren't having any problem with it; they're actually even welcoming it. As I mentioned before, it strengthens the relationship between the client and the patient. If we take away these advertisements or even regulate it more, it's not going to allow the patients enough opportunity to get access to information in order to even talk to their doctor. So we would only have one side, the doctor knows everything and we don't know anything. So these advertisements help us in that way. So that would be a disadvantage for us. There's a survey conducted by the FDA. It's called Basics of Drug Advertisements. In the survey, they found that 48% of doctors agree that direct-to-consumer advertisements inform, educate, and empower patients. The FDA requires that benefits and risks and drugs be included in ads to inform patients. So all the TV is different from magazines. You get different information. A disadvantage if you want to regulate again, the advertisements that are published in print, or even in television ads is restricting our First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech. These advertisements are not any different, or are not different from any other advertisements when you have like a new car, or, you know, from a car company, you want to show it off and you do these advertisements, it's the same thing as, so why is it's not as much of a big a deal? Like, it's our right to go and expose people to what we want, and there shouldn't be any regulation or banning of that. Also, there have been incidents where people actually appreciate these prescription drug ads. They feel that they've helped them, or try to, you know, put that link between what you're feeling and how you should be treated. There's an example that was published on direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertisement, therapeutic or toxic, and in it says the Procric is a drug used to counterattack anemia and used to help chemotherapy patients with fatigue. Prior to the ad campaign for the drug, it was rarely prescribed because chemotherapy patients were not reporting fatigue caused by the chemotherapy to their doctors. After seeing this ad, patients reported fatigue and could be approximately diagnosed. So these advertisements not only let us know like what symptoms we're feeling and stuff. If we feel that way, we can also go and talk to the doctors, and it's up to the doctor to decide what you're really going through. Also in 1992, there was an advertisement through the Super Bowl. It was about the nicotine patch. So a lot of those who didn't know that there was an option to get rid, or to stop smoking, they didn't know that there was this nicotine patches, but because it was aired through the Super Bowl, they were able to go and contact their doctors or try to find out more information about it so that they can stop smoking. So banning these advertisements or regulating even more takes too much time. It restrains our freedom of speech, and it's unnecessary. Thank you.